Testing 1, 2. You are awesome. Hey guys, welcome back to our second video of our 10-part series on your mind shapes your life. A simple guide to shifting everything, and we get really practical in this series. So if you have not watched video number 1, I'm going to put the link on right now. Go and watch number 1. They are structured in a way to help you step by step. If you do decide to watch this one without watching number 1, I can't guarantee that you're going to get the same results, but you're still going to get results. So guys, welcome back. If this is your first time seeing me, welcome. My name is Marnie Steyn. I'm an author, I'm a speaker, an international speaker. I'm also an entrepreneur. I'm also an investor, so I do a lot of things. I'm a little bit of everything, but this specific channel of mine is focused upon all of the mindset things that I had to do as a person to achieve the life of my dreams. So I was one of those people that documented everything that I did, and being a child of God, I believe that everything we do should be filtered through the Word of God, which I then did, and I had some really massive mindset shifts. But you're not here to listen to my story. You're here to find out what is video number 2 about. So I hope you did everything that you were supposed to do in video number 1, and I hoped it really unlocked some things for you. So what is video number 2 about? Number 2 is you choose how you are going to feel. So the reality is, as much as we want to blame other people and the things that other people do to us as the basis for our feelings, unfortunately there is no rooting for that. And as long as you are going to blame others for how you feel, how you act, and how you react, you're going to stay exactly where you are right now. And the problem with staying where you are right now is in 10 years time, that's going to be really far behind. So I would highly suggest that you start working on accepting that everything around you is a result of your choices, of the decisions you make. If you can make that and you can accept that, then you are definitely on the path to unlocking the life of your dreams and changing not only things for yourself, but for a lot of future generations of your family. The reality is that nothing anybody does, say, or whatever can ever make you feel anything. Now, Neville Goddard was very right on the things that he believed and the things that he said, because a lot of his philosophy was grounded in the fact that you are the decision maker. You need to get to a place where you feel unchanged and unmoved. Now, if you believe that is a bit far-fetched, how can anybody live their entire life not having their feelings offend them or making them, not allowing your emotions to control you? Well, there is a lot of people in the Bible that reference that, and they extensively reference it in the Bible. So a lot like Paul and them, they also said, no matter what circumstance I get in, I'm content. And that specific part is what really drew me and pushed me towards understanding this. Because how can you say that no matter what happens to you, you're okay with it, you're going to be okay? I just couldn't understand that philosophy. I couldn't understand how you can come to a place where you feel like that. Well, I have arrived at that place. And today, I truly understand what they were talking about, and I'm going to break it down in this video. Now, in order for us to understand our feeling, we need to start in the beginning. Where does feelings come from? Now, feelings come from our thoughts. So that means everything that we think turns into feelings. So if I think positive things, I have positive feelings. If I have negative thoughts, I have negative feelings. Now that is a very broad spectrum, let's be honest. For me, that was really broad when I had to just put everything into 2 baskets. I was like, what the heck, man? Some emotions are both negative and positive. So in understanding this is, if you now understand that thoughts turns into feelings, therefore, whatever external thing comes into your life, if someone walks up to me and says to me, Marnie, I hate you, you're an idiot. I have a thought. And that thought can either be, well, you're an idiot, you're a bigger idiot for saying it for me, or, hey, maybe this guy's just having a bad day. Let's give him a break. That's the thought process that is taking place. And then whatever thought is happening here, it will then turn into a feeling. Because if I'm offended by what he said, I'll get angry and respond. But if I'm giving the guy some grace, it will turn into love, and I'll just say, it's okay. I know not everybody can like me, and that's okay. So you see, your response comes from the thought you think when that thing comes at you. Now, think about your own life. How many times has things happened to you and you didn't really enjoy the way you responded to it? Well, it's because of the thoughts that are rooted in your mind at that moment. Now, we are a multi-dimensional being. If you don't believe this, I always say take this little test. So what I want you to do is just close your mouth, close your eyes, and inside of you say, I love you. Go and try it. All right, now, what I want you to answer for me is, who said it? Because your lips did not move. So if you are just a physical being, who said it? Because your lips didn't move. And your ears clearly heard those words. Now, who heard it? Who said it? And who heard it? That is a simple test to prove to you that there is a soul. There is a being inside of you that is encased in this human flesh. And that is why you are a multi-dimensional being. You are not just the physical, which is here. This physical body is my representation of who is inside of me. Now, the big thing to understand is the outer body we feed with fruits and nuts and whatever, but feeding the internal body, that's a little bit of a tricky one. That being cannot be fed by bread and water. Now we're getting to what Jesus said. He said, I'm living water. Well, I know I got to drink water, but no. He was referring to the soul. The soul cannot eat and drink what we eat and drink in our world today. So what does that body feed on? Well, thoughts, ideas. And now you understand why many biblical philosophers, including Joyce Meyer and a lot of other preachers, are preaching the power of the mind. She wrote Battlefield of the Mind for a reason. And it was a great, if you've never read Battlefield of the Mind, I don't care if you're a believer or non-believer, I don't give a dang. I would highly suggest you go and read Battlefield of the Mind, because there is a lot of things in there that will really make you think about how your thoughts are being targeted. And the reality is, the enemy, whatever evil force you want to put it to it, is targeting our minds. Because let's think about it for a moment. Why is virtual reality such an important thing to the world today? Because if you can put an image in front of their eyes, and that image can turn into a thought, that thought will turn into a feeling, and that feeling will come into reality. Just think about it for a moment. Just think about what I said right now. And that is why I am doing this series, and that is why I wrote my book as well, How to Go Away from the Fear-Based Religion, the old belief system of having to achieve God's love rather than saying, hey, we need to realize what the heck is going on here. What does that person feed on? Well, it feeds on knowledge. It feeds on words. It feeds on ideas. It feeds on spiritual matter. So if you are sitting here and you are not reading, you are not listening to videos like this, you are not expanding and broadening your mind, then you are unfortunately dying. And I don't mean dying in the literal sense, that's the end of it. But what I'm saying is you are dying. This being is becoming less and less. And this is where a lot of the trauma comes from that we have today. Because we put these limiting beliefs upon ourselves because we're not feeding that internal person. And this is why this video will mainly focus on you feeding that internal person. That the true you does not live by bread alone, but lives on every word that comes from God or Jesus. So that means that internal force of us, that thing that we have, our true self, I call it my true self. This is just an expression of who I am internally, true inside. This person on the outside is just an expression of it. So the reality is, if you don't like how you look, how you talk, how you act, well, unfortunately, it is just an outward expression of who you are inside. And that's okay. It's okay if you come to that realization to say, well, I don't really like where I am in my life. That's okay. Because guess what? There's always a turning around point. There's always a point for you to make a different decision and change the future outcomes. Because whether you want to believe it or not, you are the maker and the breaker of your fate. And you can no longer blame it on God. You can no longer blame it on Jesus. You can no longer blame it on your neighbor, your husband, your wife, your children. The reason why your life is the way it is because you have stopped taking responsibility of your actions. But let me root this in a little story, because in the previous video I did share a story about Jenny. Today I'm going to share a different one. Today I'm going to share a story of Mike. So this is a really nice story that will tie all of this together and really break it down for you and give you the whole juicy part that you need to change your life. So Mike is a very outgoing guy. He loves going out, spending time with his friends. He absolutely loves. I wouldn't say he's a party animal as such, but he's just someone that really, really enjoys being out there. He's someone that loves spending time with his friends. He loves spoiling them. He's a very social and outgoing person. So he absolutely loves when he gets to make plans and gets all of his friends together for a great weekend or a night or whatever. It's just something that is within him. He absolutely loves it. But then something happens to Mike. There's that one specific friend that he has. They've been friends for a long time, but for some odd reason, this person keeps canceling all of the things that he's doing. And, first time, maybe okay. Second time, but now things are really starting to look like a pattern. This person keeps canceling on him and he's feeling annoyed by it. He's thinking, shucks, why is this person not wanting to spend time with me? You know those feelings that comes in where we say to ourselves, I wonder why this person keeps doing this to me. I'm being so nice, I'm being patient, I'm being all of these things, but why is this person keep doing this to me? I really want to spend time with them, I really enjoy their company, but they keep rejecting me. Why are they rejecting me? And the reality is, Mike took it very personal. By the 5th or 6th time that this friend of his started canceling on him, he was pretty damn annoyed and he just stopped communicating with this person at all. He ignored them. When he did see him, he would not talk to him at all. He would give him a cold shoulder, and obviously by him giving that person a cold shoulder, it ended up that person feeling rejected, so his friend even felt more rejected, and it just made the space between them bigger and bigger, to the point where the two of them just felt that they couldn't reconcile at all. It made getting together really uncomfortable, and there was always that tension where the other friends had to pick which one they were aligned with. I mean, you guys, I'm sure you've experienced some of that. And nobody could really understand what was the issue between Mike and his friend. Because it was always just, but he was canceling on me and he didn't take my feelings into account. And it was always coming from a place of I. So Mike was really feeling offended, and that internally caused the friend to feel offended, and it just created this huge level of, I would say, being self-absorbed as such. And although Mike so badly wanted to reconcile with his friend, the pain that he was feeling and the way he felt inside was really so deep that he just didn't know how to overcome it. He didn't understand why it hurt so much and why all of this led to that outcome, because he really loved his friend and he wanted to be friends with him for a very long time, and he didn't understand it. So let me break this down and you can understand how this is happening to a lot of us. The reality is, Mike didn't know that his friend was going through some really tough challenges financially. And because Mike was a good friend to everybody, he wasn't a great friend to a couple of them, and especially this friend. And because his friend had some financial struggles and he didn't want to announce it to everybody, he kept cancelling on the events rather than, obviously, his friends also had a bit of pride, let's be honest. His friend didn't want to out to everybody that he was having financial struggles and things were not going as great and he had lost his job and he was trying to find another, but he wanted to keep up the appearances. But Mike, on the other hand, took all of that rejection, that him saying no, he took it as rejection. He took it as his friend was just being an a-hole and didn't want to spend time with him. Instead, what should Mike have done? Mike should have rather stood still for a moment and realized that no matter what his friend does, it should not affect how he feels. You see, what his friend said came and rooted in his mind. And when it rooted in his mind, it created a thought. And what was that thought? That thought was rejection. He felt rejected. And then, here's the beauty. When Mike sat down and he did this exact process of going through all of these steps and identifying the root, he then realized that he had a lot of rejection issues that came with his own childhood, where he was taught to obey, not ask questions, and he was taught to do as you are told, and he constantly felt rejected in his family home. So that meant that he grew up to be a person that didn't really ask people questions, didn't want to get into people's lives because it felt like he was mixing in with him. Secondly, it made him reject, if anybody said anything negative to him or somebody did something that made him feel offended, his offense very quickly turned into rejection. And that then caused the drift, because here's the thing, the friend on the other side that was going through that emotional experience, because they were such good friends, was expecting Mike to come to him and say, hey bud, what's going on? You've been cancelling on me a couple of times. Is everything okay? That's what the friend wanted him to do. But because Mike had these internal scars of rejection and being told you do not intervene, you keep to yourself, do not mess into other people's stuff, you stick to what you are supposed to, you need to put up this persona that you are a strong and hard individual in his life. He then rooted those beliefs that he shouldn't intervene into other people's lives, he shouldn't be caring towards other people. So anything that he asked into other people's lives felt to him like he was intruding, and it made him feel really insecure. So all of this combined created this level of insecurity inside of Mike that never allowed him to reach out to his friend. But then what happened was Mike then went through this whole process of identifying these roots, these limiting beliefs, and how his friend's rejection, how the reason why, well, he didn't know the reason yet. He didn't speak to the friend yet, but he then realized that by his friend rejecting him, it wasn't really rejection. It was just him framing it that way. And then he started changing the framework. So then when he looked back on his friend rejecting him or saying no, he didn't see it as rejection. He rather saw it as that was his friend's choice. And he then started accepting that is what that his friend's decisions and what he chooses to do is none of his business. He is not responsible for making his friends feel good. And his friends are not responsible for making him feel good. So he realized that he is in control of his own happiness, and he decided to reframe the rejection into a choice. And what happened then? No longer he was feeling rejection. Instead, he was now saying, it's okay. My friend don't want to go out. That's okay. He doesn't want to be friends with me right now. That's okay. It's not going to affect how I treat him. So Mike started treating his friend better, and one day, going through this whole process, Mike came to the realization that he was actually being a very bad friend, because he should have actually asked him. And he invited him out for a cup of coffee, and he said, hey bud, what is going on? I mean, I know all of this stuff happened between us, and Mike explained his situation, but then he sat down and he said, listen, tell me, was it the fact that you couldn't go out, or was there other things? And then his friend opened up and said, I was going through these things and all of this. And then Mike realized that this entire process was just him framing things wrong. And because he framed things wrong and he framed it according to a past experience, it caused all of this chaos. Now, I don't know if there's friends in your life that you have framed in a certain way and things escalated very fast and you are no longer friends. Well, maybe you should go back and identify those root causes, what caused it, and not fix it for them. You never fix anything for another person. You fix it for yourself, because maybe there's relationships in the future that needs that new framework. So now, every single time that people cancelled on Mike, he saw it as they just need some personal space. And he would tell them, that's no problem, I love you, you're cool. And one of the things he did also learn is when people keep cancelling on it, maybe it's not anything to do with me, but maybe they are going through something really deep and painful. And he then learned how to be a support structure to his friends, which was an absolute amazing thing. And guess what? Mike built relationships that outlasted many, many deep waters, because he had learned the skill that the most important skill is to frame things according to a positive structure. If someone rejects you, it's not because of you. And second of all, it's not rejection. They're just saying no, and they are entitled to say no. It's because we want the outcome that we want. And if we don't get it, then we frame it that we are the problem. And that is a very bad framework to work from. So it's something very important. So if you have felt this before, if you have dealt with something similar, maybe it's co-workers, maybe it's children, I don't know what relationship you've had, but if you've ever experienced something like this, where someone did something and immediately you're on your back foot, why are you doing this to me? Maybe there is something deeper that you need to go look at and you need to change, because unfortunately, your journey on this world is all about you and the internal person that you are. You can't change nobody else, but you can change a lot inside of yourself. And when you change yourself, you automatically level up and unlock the life that you've always dreamed about. Because the reality is, successful people have traits, and one of their traits is they don't frame things according to their emotions. So in conclusion, you are the boss of your emotions. No matter what happens to you, first of all, do not see it as a reflection on you. Number one. Number two, do not allow yourself to frame it in a negative context. See it as their choice and see it as that they have free will. Just as you have free will, if that is their decision, then love them instead of it than condemning them. And thirdly, if you do feel maybe you should go back in your life and see where have you been treated in a way that made you feel rejected. Where have you been in situations where people abandoned you or didn't do the things that they said they were going to do? And you have rooted that belief in your life, and therefore that is causing you to see yourself as less than others. Because sometimes we want to entertain everybody. We want to be everybody's friend, because technically inside we are hurting. And I would rather have one or two really good friends, people that really love me and I really love them, than having the whole world being my friend and we don't really truly understand each other. That's definitely not for me. I'm looking to create deep, meaningful connections. Like you guys on YouTube here. All of you guys that are joining my channel and being part of my community really resonate with what I'm doing. There's a lot of people watching YouTube every day that are not seeing my videos. There's people that don't like my videos. That's okay. I'm going to love them anyhow, because they're being honest with themselves. If you don't enjoy what I do, you're entitled to that. And I'm going to love you, but that's not going to stop me from doing what I love and sharing these things with you. So I hope this really sheds some light on the reality that you choose how you're going to feel. And if you don't choose differently, you're going to keep feeling the exact same way. And over time, you are going to manifest the life that you don't want. And that is entirely on you, nobody else. Stop blaming others. So, if you enjoyed this video, guys, thank you so much for watching to this point. Here is a really, really cool thing for you. I have created 5 resources for this entire video series. In the bottom, I'm going to link a download button to all of these resources. You can have them absolutely for free. They were resources that I developed while creating and going through this process myself, I created resources. I love doing that. When I do something, I like to systemize it and create things that I can use to actually apply this in my life, because I believe we read a lot, we learn a lot, but we apply really crap. And I really improved my applying in my life when I started creating resources. And I'm going to share all of these resources with you absolutely for free. If you enjoyed the video, please maybe hit the subscribe button to catch up with video number 3. And if you haven't watched video number 1, here it is again for you to go and watch. And yeah, please give this a thumbs up if you really found some value in the video. And maybe leave a comment. What is something that you are battling with now? What is a limiting belief that you are looking to break? Or maybe just your comments on Mike's story and how it's maybe affected you, or something similar that has happened to you in your life. I would love to hear from you guys. As always, guys, thank you so much for joining me in this video today, and I will see you guys in the next video. As always, remember, I love you guys, and may you have a blessed and terrific day, and I'll see you in the next one.